What is going on? We're back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the MLB Draft. If you guys don't know, the MLB Draft is July 13th and July 14th, so it's slowly approaching. And I'll be taking a look at some mock drafts in this video. But first, before we get into the mock drafts from the publications, I want to first take a look at the draft order to refresh your guys' memory. Because obviously the draft lottery was a while ago in December for the winter meeting, so here's kind of the picks that we have. Both of the publications go to about pick 40, so I'll show you guys all that. And then we obviously have the draft lottery with the Nationals, Angels, Mariners, and Cardinals kind of winning that draft lottery, moving up in the draft order. They went some of the lower teams: Rockies, Marlins, Pirates, White Sox, all down here. There's some pick penalties because of the competitive balance tax, which we know about. We have the prospect promotion picks for the Royals that obviously come from MLB Pipeline, Baseball America, and ESPN. We have some compensation picks for obviously the signings in the offseason, so we have these picks over here. And the final picks will be in competitive balance round A, which some of these were acquired through trade, and some of these obviously were acquired through the smallest markets or the smallest revenue pools. So this is how the MLB draft looks for the first round. So first we're gonna start with ESPN. A lot of the guys from the publication put this together, so definitely shout out to them. They probably worked pretty hard on this. We're just gonna take a look at a lot of them. Obviously Gage Anderson from LSU, pitched in the College World Series, was a phenomenal player. They have him going number 1 to the Nationals. So that is, I've heard his name go number 1 a lot from multiple of the publication sources. So we'll see what the Nats want to do with their pick. Obviously, their last really good pick was Dylan Cruz, so they did go with a hitter last time. Maybe they'll switch it up to a pitcher. We'll kind of wait and see. But obviously, I really like what this Nationals team's building, and we'll wait to see who they pick. I think Anderson could be a good pick. I definitely, we've heard about the Ethan Holiday thing for a little bit now, but I like going with these college players a lot more. I think you guys kind of know my stance by now on that. We'll wait to see what they do. We'll move down to the Angels. They have Liam Doyd from Tennessee going. He was obviously a phenomenally good pitcher. And considering the Angels kind of move their guys up pretty quickly, that's kind of what they said here. They can kind of see that happening kind of quickly. But I could see them taking another hitter too, because I really do think the best way to rebuild a franchise is starting with your hitting and then doing the pitching after. Because once you get your hitters locked down and signed, I feel like you can pick up the pitching a little bit easier, at least in my opinion. But you never know what they do. So they have Liam Doyd going to the Angels. Third overall, they do have this kid from Florida State, a big left-hander. I think I remember watching him when they played Oregon, or they played in the group stage. I don't know when he pitched, to be honest. But yeah, he's a really good kid. He's 6'1", good fastball, good slider. I think he'll be a solid pickup, to be honest. Here's Ethan Holiday down here at number 4. Now, the question I'm going to ask you guys is, where do you think he goes? Because I think this is the big question. I don't know. We've heard a lot of hype about him. His brother is obviously in playing for the Orioles right now. I don't really think he's been the best first-round pick, in my opinion. So we'll see if that has any weight on Ethan Holiday. But obviously comes from a good baseball family, comes from a good background. So we'll kind of see where he's at, to be honest. But will the Rockies take him? That's kind of a big question. I'm kind of curious to see what the Rockies do. Obviously, they picked up some pretty decent players in the last couple of years. With Charlie Cunham, with Chase Dolan are currently developing in the minors. So kind of excited to see what the Rockies do. And then at the 5th pick, they got the Cardinals taking this high school shortstop. So I don't know anything about these high school players. I still don't like them taking high school players, in my opinion. I think the college guys are way better and they get to the league a lot quicker. But that's just my thoughts. I'll kind of just scroll down and talk about it as we scroll down. What are you guys' thoughts on high school players? Because I really do think a lot of these high school guys, especially the pitchers, take so long to develop that, I don't know, I feel like it's just better to take a college kid. That's just my opinion, though. I'll kind of wait to see what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. But they also have these GMs right here. So these guys are just like the ESPN guys that talk about it pretty much, because Jeff Passan's name comes up all the time pretty much in this. And I do have some trade alerts. Now, I don't know how you can predict a trade in the MLB draft when you can't trade picks. But yeah, that's kind of who they have. I don't know how you trade picks that can't be traded, but there you have it. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. They have Gage Wood at 14th right here. He's one of the guys that threw the no-hitter in College World Series. Just a phenomenal performance for him. They have him going 14th. So I'm really excited to see where his name goes. I think he's one of the best pitchers in the class. Obviously that LSU kid's really good with Anderson, but definitely curious to see where he goes in the class. I think a lot of these teams can pick various amounts of players, whatever you kind of need. I feel like as we're looking for. Obviously Cleveland's down here in 17th. They think this trade's gonna happen with the Cubs. Obviously, if you guys have followed college, you will know some of these names, right? When we kind of continue down here, this is what I want to talk about, is number 21, Jace Levet. Obviously, before the college season even started, he was projected to go number 1. He didn't really have the best season, I think, compared to some of the other players on this list. He only batted 258, so there you have it. He's down here at 21. So we'll see if he goes any higher. I mean, there's obviously a lot of names that are really good down here. I mean, a perfect example is a guy like Nick Kurtz. I mean, he's been phenomenal for the A's, and he was picked at like 30. So there's definitely a lot of good players that can come from, being in the first round. So don't let that fool you at all. A lot of good players from last year's draft have been into the league this year. So just keep that in mind. If you guys want to pause throughout any of these picks, by the way, just, go ahead and pause. This was an interesting one. The catcher from the Orioles, I feel like this is just not needed with Adley Rutschman. I don't know. The Orioles are chalked in my opinion, but we can kind of just keep scrolling through on some of the players that they think are going to get picked up. So yeah, definitely interesting from ESPN. I like a lot of the picks they had. I don't really know about the trade alerts they had. I can't really speak on the high school players because I just don't know who they are, to be honest. So these guys will have more information than I have. But definitely a good read. I'll definitely link it down below in the description if you guys want to read on a certain player or who your team's going to pick. So this is the MLB publication. It's kind of the same. It's a little bit different, but we'll kind of see how it goes. So they got Kate Anderson going 1, the same guy going 2nd. I think they changed up the shortstop over here, or at least the Mariners pick over here. They still have Ethan Holiday down at 4th, which is interesting. So I wonder if he is really going to go to 4th or even lower. We'll see what the Rockies do. I think the Rockies should pick up a college player, in my opinion, just considering where their franchise is at. But if they want to take a longer term option, I think they could do that too. It's kind of what they want to do. I mean, it's kind of hard for the Rockies right now, I'm not going to lie. We can obviously keep scrolling down. You're going to see a lot of the similar names as we keep scrolling down, honestly. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what a lot of these teams do. I think for some of the better teams, you can kind of take a high school player just because you're not going to need them immediately, right? So, but for some of the teams that are kind of in the rebuild phase, you kind of want a college player, I think, to kind of turn it around kind of quickly, in my opinion. So we'll kind of wait what they do. Once again, if you guys want to pause on any of this, totally can. Once again, they have Chase Lavelle down at 20, which is definitely an interesting conversation. They also have Gage Wood down here at 22 for the Braves. So there you kind of go. So definitely going to be an interesting one on how this is going to go. I think Gage Wood could go way higher. Obviously, a lot of guys that make these publications, a lot of this is pure guessing or kind of rumors they've heard or guys they've talked to. They're obviously not in the scouting room with the actual team. So, they don't really know if that team is really looking at this player or not looking at this player. So it's definitely interesting to think about. But the draft is going to be very exciting. I like the draft a lot. But my personal opinion, I mean, we've seen guys in the last year's draft that are currently playing in the MLB. I think the draft is very fun to watch. I mean, I think Nick Kurtz was a phenomenal pickup for the A's right last year. I mean, look at a guy like Jacob Wilson for the A's in 2023, first-round pick, all-star, right? Probably going to start shortstop for the American League. So I don't know. I recommend you guys watch the draft. There's a lot of good players in here. A lot of these guys will come up through the system and play for your guys' teams. This is the MLB publication. I'll leave a link in the description. This is the ESPN publication. I would have put the Baseball America one because, these are the 3 big publications. Yeah, MLB Pipeline / MLB, right? ESPN and then Baseball America. But Baseball America wants you to pay for their article. But yeah, we're not doing that. So they're not getting rid. What do you guys think about these mock drafts? Is there any certain player you guys want your team to draft? Is there any certain position you guys think you need to get? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.